What's up, everybody? So it's Kenny here, another video. And today what we're going to talk about are the two credit bureaus here in Canada. So unlike the States, we only have two, which are both Equifax and TransUnion. Hopefully I can draw some illustrations today to help you understand the differences between the two and how we can use this information, leverage it so that we can start improving our credit. So just to start out, again, we only have two credit bureaus. First one being Equifax. I'll just put EX, and the second being TransUnion. Okay. So both of these credit bureaus allow us to get approved for credit, whether that's us wanting to go out and get a loan, a credit card, auto loan, or a mortgage. Okay. Now, these are two separate companies. They don't communicate with each other, and they always have different scores. So when you get access to both of your credit reports, you're going to notice your scores are going to be different. So, for example, let's say on average, let's say you walk in or you get your TransUnion credit report, you may have a 720 here. Okay, now this isn't the case for everybody, but in most situations, your TransUnion is going to be a little bit higher. So if you have a 720 credit score over on Equifax, you may have a 680. Now, I have seen situations where it's the inverse. Equifax is a bit higher than TransUnion, but 9 times out of 10, I've noticed with my clients that the TransUnion is typically higher than that Equifax, okay? And there's a few differences between the two on why that may be. All right. One of the first things that we notice with Equifax is that if you have a closed account that's carrying a balance, they're counting that towards your utilization, okay? Whereas with TransUnion, if you have a closed account that's carrying a balance, they're actually not counting that towards your utilization. And we should understand that utilization makes up 30% of our credit score, which plays a big part in what makes up our credit score. Okay. So again, we have two different credit bureaus, and we may have two different credit scores when we log in. Now, there's two different third-party apps that we can use in order to monitor our credit. Now, you can go directly to Equifax.ca, or you can go to transunion.ca and get your credit report. You are entitled to one free credit report per year. Okay. So if I have to draw a line, you get one free credit report per year. Okay. Okay, excuse the handwriting, but you can get one free credit report per year. So you are entitled to get one free credit report per year. Now, also understand that you don't want to just be settling with one free credit report per year. You actually want to have monthly updates. And in order for you to get access to that information, you may need to pay Equifax and TransUnion directly. Now, that's not ideal. Most people, they don't want to make that kind of investment. Okay. Um, let's say Equifax may be $29 a month, TransUnion may be $25 a month, if I remember correctly. Most people, they don't want to make that kind of initial investment to get started. Okay. So um, there are two third-party companies for each of these bureaus. Okay. So with Equifax, there's a third-party company called Borrowwell. Okay. So go here. This is Borrowell. That's Borrowwell. Okay. So Borrowwell is going to give us free access to monitor our Equifax credit report. Okay. With TransUnion, there is Credit Karma. And if you're following along on this video and you cannot read this, I truly apologize. I will try to figure something out in this video, but I think this is just a great place for us to start. So I have Credit Karma. That's CREDIT space KARMA, Credit Karma. Now, you may be familiar with Credit Karma. You may say, isn't that like a US company? But in reality, they're an international company. They operate in multiple countries providing people with their credit scores. Okay. Now in Canada, it's going to be creditkarma.ca. You can also download the mobile app for both of these platforms. All right. So both of these platforms are going to give you your credit report for free, but in exchange, you're going to be advertised credit cards. Okay, so when you first log into both these platforms, you're going to notice that you're going to be constantly advertised with credit cards, whether you're eligible to them or not. I wouldn't necessarily rely on their platform to trust if I'm ready to apply for a product. We should just educate ourselves to know when we're ready. Okay. So those are the two platforms between the two credit bureaus. Now, what I really want you to take from this video is the differences between how these credit bureaus can help you get approved for credit. Now, different lenders are going to pull from different credit bureaus, and it's very important that you understand what your goal is so that you can understand which credit bureau that we need to leverage. Now, if I know that I want to shop for a mortgage, then I need to understand that most mortgage brokers when they pull your credit, it's going to be coming from Equifax. And a lot of those decisions are going to be made on the Equifax end. So if I know my goal is to get a house, then I know, okay, I need to come over here, right? I need to get a house. That's gonna be my house. I need to get a house. I drew a nice little house. I need to get a house. I'm gonna go to Equifax. Most lenders are going to use this. Now, there's been a shift recently. Equifax used to house a lot of the credit card approvals, loan approvals, but now majority of lenders are now pulling from TransUnion to approve you for your credit cards. Okay, so if we need a credit card, I'll draw a credit card. Okay, we'll have a barcode, we'll have some numbers here. Okay, so if I know if I'm going to get approved for a credit card or I need a loan, right? Most of these lenders are pulling from TransUnion. There are a few that pull from Equifax. Most of these lenders are pulling from TransUnion. Now, if um, if it's an auto loan, then it's going to be a split between the two. For example, TD uses Equifax for the auto loans. Scotiabank uses TransUnion for the auto loans. So it's actually going to be a split. So if I had to draw a car, again, I'm not the best drawer when it comes to cars. Okay, right? Okay, it's going to be a split between both Equifax and TransUnion, right? So I want to make sure that both of my credit scores are actually in a really good position. Okay, so understanding these things allows us to leverage the better credit score. So it goes right back up to the top of what your credit score is. Understanding what your credit score is going to allow us to know which credit bureau that we need to leverage. I know if I'm getting a loan or a credit card, I need to make sure my TransUnion is on top or the best score that I can get it to be. If I'm trying to leverage my Equifax, then I'm going to, if I'm trying to get a house or get an auto loan, then I know I need to leverage my Equifax. Okay, so just try to keep that in mind next time you're about to go apply for something. Before you go and apply for that auto loan, make sure both Equifax and TransUnion are in a great position. If you're going to apply for that mortgage, make sure your Equifax is in a great position. If you're going to go for that credit card, try to get your TU or your TransUnion in the best position. Now, the model score that we want to be is anything above a 680 plus, no collection accounts. You're going to hear me say this a lot. You can get to a 680 plus, no collection accounts between both Equifax and TransUnion. You're going to be in a really good space. You don't really need to worry about anything for that part, right? As long as you have a good solid income, your DTI is in a really good position, then you're fine. So moving on, it's also important to understand which lenders pull from certain credit bureaus. Okay, so I know, let's say here we have TD, right? TD is one of the big banks. We have Desjardins, okay, HSBC, see, and then we also have BMO. So if you primarily bank with these banks, then you need to make sure that your Equifax is top notch. One of the biggest giveaways on which bank pulls from which credit bureau is that when you check your credit score within that banking app, let's say you bank with RBC or you bank with TD, you go into the check your credit score within your TD banking app, you're going to see that they're providing you that score from your Equifax credit report. Okay, so you can use that information to help you. before you apply for any product with TD, make sure that your Equifax is above a 680. Okay. Now with TransUnion, we have RBC, C, we have Amex, we have Scotia. Guys, my handwriting is not the best. We have Scotia. Who else do we have? We have CIBC. Okay. We have Van City for my people out there in BC. Okay. So here's institutions that pull from TransUnion, and there's most likely more, but they're probably going to be smaller institutions. Okay. So if you bank with these banks, understand that when you go and you open up a checking account, a lot of people don't know. When you open up a checking account, they actually are going to pull your credit. Now you may ask, why do they do that? They first of all, they have to ask for your permission. So when you go open up a checking account, they have to ask for your permission, and you need to give them that permission to actually pull your credit. Now, the reason why they want to do this is because they want to see if they can offer you a credit card when you open up that checking account. That's typically why that's the best time for you to actually apply for a credit card if you're going to go open up a checking account with the bank, because they're going to pull your credit anyway. That way, you kill two birds with one stone. You've opened up a checking account, and you've also received maybe your first credit card with that institution. Okay, so so here are the differences between the two credit bureaus. There's not one. One of the biggest myths is that one is better than the other. That's not true. The truth of the matter is different institutions pull from different credit bureaus. And if you just want to be safe, make sure that both are above a 680 and we don't have any collection accounts, and you'll be fine. Okay. If you're getting a car, a lot of people that want that have a better TransUnion, they end up with that Scotia auto loan. Scotia is really big with lending out auto loans, and for the Equifax side, when it comes to auto loans, TD is a big player in that space. Okay, so really try to keep this in mind. Understand how to leverage these two. All right. So if now this is how you can really get the most out of your credit score and out of the credit bureaus. We should understand by this point that we don't want to have a bunch of inquiries within a short period of time. One of the best things that we can do is actually, let's say if I'm good to go ahead and it's been 6 months and I'm ready to apply for a product, I can come over here to TD and apply with one of their credit cards. Then I can go to RBC and apply with one of their credit cards, and that counts as one inquiry because one is going to show up on the Equifax, the other is going to show up on TransUnion, and that's one inquiry that I can leverage to help me go ahead and get approved for that credit card. Okay, and then now from that point on, I would need to wait another 6 months for me to do another inquiry. Okay, so if you're smart, you can apply at two different institutions, and it counts as one inquiry. Maximize your knowledge to get the most out of it, right? Because I can walk into TD because of my current situation with them. I can walk into TD and get a credit card for $10,000, right? I can walk into RBC and get a credit card for $10,000. Okay, I don't know if you can see that or not, but essentially what I just wrote: TD 10,000, RBC 10,000. That's $20,000 with one inquiry. Okay, so you get the most out of your time. You get the most out of your time by knowing how to leverage the credit bureaus. Okay, so these are the two primary differences. One isn't better than the other. It's just that different banks, depending on who you bank with, are going to pull from different credit bureaus. Now, if you're smart, you may have one bank that pulls from Equifax, and you may have one bank that pulls from TransUnion, and you build a relationship with both of them. That way, you can always get more credit, and you're building a strong relationship, and you're building both credit scores. Okay. So if you have any questions about this, or if you want to dive into deeper detail on how all of this works, you can just send me an email at info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. I'll be more than happy to help you. You can also Google the business, Kenny Johnson University. Speak to us there. Give us a phone call, 438-803-1002, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be more than happy to help you out with your credit. Until then, peace.